Hello, hello. What's going on out there, crypto world? Hope y'all having a lovely Tuesday. This is No Noise Research with your host, Z-Rex, coming at you live September 25th of this awesome year, 2018. Although I'm sure people would argue with me on that one. That's not so awesome, as most cryptos are down 90%. There's other things to trade, guys, though, out there. Don't forget, it's not just about the crypto world. There is lots of things. Lots of tradables or underlyings or whatever you want to call them. So, let's kind of just jump right into it. A couple noteworthy articles that I saw. This is pretty funny. Bitcoin. Scrabble added Bitcoin to the official word list, which is funny that there's like an official word list for Scrabble. It's like, we ban those words. It's kind of silly. I thought that was kind of cute for Bitcoin. Also, Backed, which is, if you don't know who that is, it's the group of individual or companies, not individuals, ICE, and oh man, who else is in there? Some of the banks, I believe, but mostly ICE for the futures that are, I think they're launching November, I think was their target, I believe. They tweeted out that on launch that they're going to be doing physical delivery on their futures contracts. So if you have one Bitcoin USD pair, you'll be able to take delivery of the actual Bitcoin sent to you, and they're talking about doing it daily, which is pretty badass. I cannot wait until crypto gets more into the futures game. and just in trading and traditional equities in general. It's going to open up so many cool doors, new product ideas, efficiencies, all kinds of good things are on the horizon, y'all. Don't be getting shook out here. Not saying this is the bottom or anything, but, you know, trade accordingly. Don't trade on your emotions. Trade them charts, ladies and gents. All right, let me go ahead and put my live screen on, and let's jump into the markets. Here we go, as we like to start off with the market cap. Over here on Coin Checkup, as you can see, we got a nice little spurt up to that area, that 225 area, consolidated there for a few days, and we have sold off since then for a little bit. We are still holding 200, so as long as we kind of base in this area, that's good, but I really want to see it get over this 225 and try to run up to like 250 to really get this bounce, I should say. Maybe I'm not saying it's going to go to highs or anything, no one knows shit, but I do think we're in for maybe a slight relief bounce. I guess everybody's holding onto their chair, though. Like, what's the SEC going to say, man? What are they going to say, man? Is it going to be today? It's funny, you can almost like feel the tension in the market. But yeah, nothing too exciting here, kind of the same thing. Been chopping around this 200, 225 billion area, market cap, total market cap, that is, for, you know, most of this month here. Bitcoin dominance is getting a little bit more love. You can see on this chart here. Had a little sell-off. This was most likely because of Ripple, is what I think. Some of the alts also pumped, but Ripple had, I mean, Ripple's still on Binance today. I believe it was over 10,000 Bitcoin volume. So there's still lots of stuff going on with Ripple. And since we are just talking about Ripple, let's go ahead and just pull it up on the chart real quick. Nope, not that one. On Bitfinex. Here's a daily chart on the rips. Let's see, where are we at on the fib right here? If you take it to the wick, then you're right about at the 618. I like to use bodies mostly, or maybe split the wicks, but if you do bodies, then about 40 cents. Low 40s is going to be your 618, which coincides a lot with all of this business. I'm more looking to the left of that than fibs right now. So if it kind of can hold into this low 40s, mid 40s range, you know, this might still have some energy, guys, which I know sounds crazy, but it is Ripple, and it does crazy things. Let's not forget when it ran up to, you know, 350 or whatever. And I don't know if y'all watched this, but literally when it hit this top over here, that's when CNBC pulled up Poloniex. Yeah, that's right, Poloniex, everyone's favorite trading platform, and told you how to buy Ripple. Pretty damn hilarious. That couldn't have marked the top better than anything, I don't think, but pretty funny. Anyway, so yeah, XRP is looking okay here. Let's look at it on some oscillators. We're pretty neutral on the 4-hour. Also hovering right around the 55 EMA. Let's look at it on the daily. We're losing the longer term supports on the daily. Still bullish though on the daily. The hourly's been bearish on DMI since back here at around mid 50s. When it was even kind of getting rejected from the 21, and then ultimately got below the 55. So, you know, it's not the best thing, but again, look, we are printing some support here, and that's not surprising at all, given that to the left. Let me go back here. Getting all this business here, which we talked about a lot in the other videos. Please check those out. I timestamp all of them so you can navigate quickly and all that good stuff. If there's anybody in here live, please feel free to ask questions. Or put a ticker in the chat box if you want me to check something out for you, and I'll do that a little bit towards the end of the show. But back to some Ripple. We got lots of support here in this mid 40s range, so if we hold pretty much 40 cents, I'm still pretty bullish on the rips. Alright, so let's go back to the market cap. Let's look at some of the big movers here. And let's filter out a lot of these shit coins, as we love to do, because who cares about most of these? Let's do about $500 million. So on the last day, nothing. All pretty damn boring. How about the last 7 days? Of course, Ripple's still up there. Stellar, of course. Zcash. Zcash, I think, has this sapling upgrade coming very soon. I know my buddy is talking about that a lot. Shout outs to him, to kind of keeping everybody in the loop. I do know he really thinks that this has a potential to move large. We can just see a nice trend line that's been forming there. Let's see here. We are getting bullish. We're just now starting to get bullish on the daily, plus crossing over the 21 exponential. Can't really get super bullish on this though until we get above the 55, and ultimately I'd like to see it break this trend line that it's been in since the beginning of the year. This trend line resistance, that is. Let's see on the 4 hour. 4 hour is slightly bullish, just slightly. It's like almost neutral, and the 1 hour is slightly bearish. So, but they're both way up here in that top power zone, which is around the mid-20s we like to look at. So, nothing, like it's, let's just call it kind of neutral, but on the daily it is starting to get some bullish attributes here, and we are above the 50 on the RSI. Let's see if we can get into the strength zone, which of course everybody, I believe, mistakenly calls it the overbought zone. It is the relative strength indicator. Like overbought and oversold are just, that's for newbies, guys. Things can stay up there for a long time. It just means it's showing strength. They actually need to rename those, I think, to just strength and weakness. It's like strong up here and it's weak as shit down here. That's it. Because overbought just implies that you need to get out of long positions, right? And the opposite for oversold, you need to, you know, get out of your short position. So I don't know. I don't like it. I don't like to use those terms. That's just my 2 cents. Hey, what the hell do I know, right? All right, let's go back over here. And something I did notice, Ethereum Classic is the only one that actually isn't really doing anything. And as y'all know, we talked about this the last couple videos. I am in a position on ETC. I do think that it has some legs here to play. Although this did get stopped out here on this little setup that we had on this. Okay, so let me run through this real quick. When we put this on, I guess, what was that? A couple days ago. You know, we had this support level right here at the 55 EMAs, and it came out of here, and you know, this is, you get out of here. When we set this up, this is it. You had a decent risk-reward ratio. It was set up pretty good at a good support level, and on this candle, and it blew through it. So if you just stopped out here, then you only, you know, got hit about 3% roughly. And that's very manageable. Keeping them under 10, like once you go over like 10% losses, it starts to become exponential on how much you have to gain to get your money back. As you know, if you go to 50% down, now you need a double up to get your money back. If you go down into like the 70s and then you get into the 90s, I mean, you once you get over 95, I believe, don't quote me exactly on this, but I believe once you get past that, it is roughly, you know, you need like 1800% gains to like get back to even. So you're pretty much SOL at that point. Something that's interesting about price action right here is that this candle, a lot of people came in, a lot of buyers. Dang, I wish I would have kind of saw this earlier today. I did not. Oh well, can't get them all. But now we're starting to see that this area, and this happens a lot when you put trades in and you have your stop at, the stop will be resistance when price comes back up to it, because you know, a lot of people were probably looking at a similar type trade. Don't forget, we are all watching the same movie. So it is interesting that, oops, before I erase all that while I was talking about it, it is interesting it's starting to get rejected as soon as it got into here. You can see the wick of this candle is right here. Oh, let's go to big screen. Just notice that it wasn't on there. There we go. Yeah, you can notice right here that wick is getting rejected in this zone. So I'm still holding this long. I actually missed this entire thing. I didn't even look at Ethereum Classic until that last video, so that's pretty funny. But anyway, yeah, it's pretty much just flat. This, I will definitely jump out of this if this starts to get back and test the $11 range. Maybe I might flex it down to like 10.75 or so. But yeah, so I'm still kind of looking for some action on there. But if you did, and I have different position placement too than over here. So I was just putting this up as a trade idea, of course. It's nothing's financial advice. I'm just trying to teach you different things that I've learned and maybe help you, and then you can learn how to do trade setups, and then you just keep doing it. You don't want to get like recommendations, really. I think that's kind of silly, because what are you going to just depend on somebody for the rest of your trading career and try to just believe the other person? You know, that's just not realistic. You got to learn how to trade yourself and read price action and set up your own trade management styles, because also everybody trades a little bit different depending on your psychology makeup. So, but anyway, this trade as we put it on is defunct, so erase it. Keep those charts clean, y'all. Don't leave all this stuff on there. Get it out, because it messes with your brain. All right, let's go to Mama Bear, the Bitcoin Mama Bear. All right, so it's trying to keep over here around the 400 range. The one thing I don't like about this formation here, especially on the, probably it looks, yeah, on the 4 hour, it looks most predominant. You are kind of seeing some flag action here. Whoa, that was an ugly line. You are kind of seeing a little bit of flag action kind of building up, something along those lines. So that's not the best pattern to see, especially this price. So let's just say 63.50, you know, breaks out of that on one of these 4 hours. Especially on a daily, we probably are very likely to hit new lows. And I do think, I'm thinking like new low, not new like local lows, like, well, I guess you could call it new local lows, but I'm more thinking of this range back here. So that would be what, the 6,000 area. We're still waiting on the news this week though, so don't get ahead of yourself. Just keep watching the charts, you know, not like all day or anything. I'm not suggesting that by any means. I actually suggest you look at charts just for, like, set up a thing that you can do for a little while, so you don't have to look at charts for more than, you know, 5-10 minutes, and you are like, oh, that's bullish, bearish, or I don't want to touch it. And then that way you don't get consumed and then start trading more emotionally instead of, you know, you got to go out and live your life and go hang out with people and friends and family and etc. Otherwise, it will consume you, and it will probably consume your money too. That's generally what I have noticed. All right, let's look at some internals. So as we've been talking about, even in the video back over here on the 22nd, we had discussed that the DMI has, and we've gone into a lot of details about this. Like I said, go check out lots of other videos, especially on the Bitcoin pair and Ethereum. We have discussed this at length. But generally, when you get this choppy action, one of the only things besides maybe like the 21 and the 55 exponential is DMI gives you a really good indicator who has kind of the upper hand. Even though that upper hand could only be a percentage point or two. I mean, don't forget Casino's edge is really small, but when you pump, you know, hundreds of millions of dollars through that and you win 51% of the time, you're going to make money in the long run. It's just a game of numbers, right? So here we were talking about how it was looking semi-bearish and that the bears had control on the hourly, and they have had it for a pretty good minute, like since September 22nd afternoon, pretty much around 3 o'clock, about the time we're doing this video here. And so if you kind of look at this, and it was giving you, and it never got below the weak zone. So the neutral zone is between, let me make this bigger so it's a little easier to see. The neutral zone is between these two upper horizontals. That's kind of the battle zone. Below the middle one is the weak zone, and then below the lowest one is like that's like the super weak zone, but it's also kind of dangerous. That means, you know, that means the move is getting close to exhaustion, more than likely, or it's about to get real serious and keep momentum that way for a little bit longer. But you do have to be careful when you see price starting to get down there. As you can see, most of the times the touches, there are pretty abrupt moves to the upside. Except now we are actually seeing some consolidation in the weak zone. So that's not a great sign here. Let's go back to the price. And we do have some volatility that has kicked up quite a bit here in the last day or so. Probably the most we've seen based off this volatility indicator on the top all September, it looks like. And it's been pretty consistent. So again, guys, this DMI is my favorite indicator, and again, it gave us warning too that this was coming around the corner, and especially when you have a confluence of indicators. Hey, what's going on, Mr. Scott? How are you doing today? Dude, where the hell is JJ at, man? He just kind of is like getting crazy and I don't know what's up with him. I've never really seen him do that and disappear like that. I hope he's in this chat listening, or in this stream listening right now. Maybe he can chime in. Yeah, so especially when you get a confluence of indicators on price, we got DMI has been telling us watch out for weakness all in this consolidation, and then you break below your 21 exponential, and it's been down ever since. I'm not getting bullish back on Bitcoin until I see the DMI get back into the power zone, as well as price get over this 21 exponential on the hourly. Other than that, there's not really much else to say about Bitcoin. It's not looking super hot. On the 4 hour, we are bearish on the 4 hour too now on the DMI. Let's see, how about on the daily? Daily's neutral still, so and there's definitely a pretty concise channel here. Y'all can kind of see, let me see, kind of draw that out real quick. You kind of have a little channel that's been building up here since this sell-off, so that is pretty interesting. Sleeping on a bed of tokens. Hopefully they're not all bag tokens though, right? Maybe they're softer though if they're in bags, I don't know. Yeah, you have this price action is definitely kind of playing nicely in this channel, so I wouldn't be surprised to get some support here, maybe have a little bounce back up to test 65.5, 66. As y'all know, we can't get out of this damn green box. We've been in it almost the whole time I started doing these videos. It's gotten pretty ridiculous, but you know, hey, whatever, you got to take what the market gives you. And trading this range has been a pretty profitable endeavor if you have been, you know, buying the bottom third of it and maybe selling the top third or something like that. I haven't been doing that the whole time. I'm more waiting for price to break out of here because I do think we're coiling up for a very large move, and we just need to get past kind of this week so people can be like, oh, it's crypto's dead because we can't get an ETF or whatever. I don't know if y'all listen to some of the other streams that I've done. I've talked about the idea that, oh my gosh, I'm sorry about that, little alarm. I talked about the idea that the ETFs won't get approved, but maybe that we will get the ETH futures, I think, because I don't think the ETF being approved until after backed, or right around the backed deal in November goes down. I don't really see them just kind of approving any of those anytime soon. So this one for this week, I would say it's like 90+% chance of denial. All right, but I also think it's kind of becoming a non-event too, so like people are getting tired of it. Like I've said a couple times before in the stream, you only can cry wolf so many times, right? All right, let's check out Ethereum. It has been showing more strength than a couple of the other coins lately, that is. Obviously, back here we talked about how it was showing how it was terrible and being the canary, saying, hey, watch the hell out. So now here we are coming back. Oh, and see, I was just telling y'all about ETC, which broke out to the bottom and started getting resistance here. Look what's happening here. You got this trade setup we made. You get up into here, and now it comes right back, and it's having resistance where you entered. Again, we all watch the same type of movies. There's nothing really too special about most traders. I guess the separator is if you do risk management or not, right? And you keep your position size in check. Those are like the biggest two things. Other than that, we're all kind of playing the same game. So you can see this came up to about halfway up to our target. As I've discussed before, a lot of how I do management and take profits is I'll usually take a chunk off at half of my target. Just to, you know, it's all about managing winners. You've got to take money and claim your profits, otherwise they never are profits. So in this example, if you got in here and you're like, dude, I'm a genius, 208 to 250, psh, what? Can't do anything to me. And then all of a sudden, you know, 2 days later, you're back to dead even, and you're like, shit, man. God damn it, I hate trading, this sucks. And what you're doing is depleting emotional capital, and then you're gonna start trading on bad emotions, and it's not going to be good for you. You're going to lose money, period. Yeah, you can get lucky sometimes, of course, but in the long run, if you want to do this for the long haul, it ain't going to happen that way. So, taking some off here, and then this happening, let's say you took off half when it gets to halfway of your target. So now you claimed profits on half, and then this sold off, and now you're just break even on half of it. But you still made money on half, and that alone, that little difference, that subtle difference, I know it probably doesn't sound like that much, but what it does to your mental state is so beneficial. I cannot stress that enough. And until you kind of do, I think, trade a lot more and actually start listening to and trading on your plans more than you don't, then you'll start to see that and feel those kind of emotional capital buildups. Like if you do that and it sells off, you're like, oh man, see, awesome. It was smart to take off half of that there and then take the other off at the top. Or if a stop loss, it goes to here, it's the same psychology. You'll burn out your psychology and emotional capital. If it goes below here and you hold it because you're just being emotional, and then it just falls out a bed, you know. Like let's say you could do a similar trade setup here in this consolidation, right, as we have here, and then your stop is maybe this wick, and then it goes through it on this one wick. You have it right here. You should already be out. Let's say you put in a trade. Here, I'll just make it because it probably doesn't make as much sense here without setting it up. All right, so let's say you had something kind of like that, right? It's bouncing in here. It's in your zone. It's okay. It hasn't closed. But then you have this one candle finally gets out of there, right? It's done. That trade is over. Get out of it. Don't sit there and hold it because you feel some way. Feelings are zero way to make money. You're in this game to make money, not to make best friends with the coin, which will happen. It'll actually be a friend you don't probably like because it'll be a bag holder that just keeps costing you money. And then you'll like never sell it. You'll just hold on to it forever, which I have done before. Yeah, I have some penny stocks back in the day that I traded that went down so much. They're like worse than altcoins. They're worth like 0.0003 cents. You can't even, there's like not even a market for them either. Like no one's buying that shit. There's no one to sell to. So, but yeah, and that, just get out of there. You're wrong, and that's okay. And this one, I guess you would have had a hypothetical, like maybe halfback management here, but ultimately, you know, you just got to trade or plan your trade and trade your plan. Okay, that's it. It's really that simple. And if you just do that and stay disciplined, then you will make money in this. And that's also coincides with not watching charts all day, because that's what will fuck you. With an A, that is. So yeah, just a little food for thought. I know that was probably a little long-winded, but you know, it's all good. All right, because I think that's really important to know that. Like, everybody's like, you know, they don't talk about managing winners. Like the cliche in the markets is, you just let your winners run, man. That's bullshit. It's bullshit. You have to manage your winners too, or you'll never make money. Because in that example I just talked about earlier, you're a genius, and then you're like, damn it, I knew it, da-da-da. And then emotional capital is probably more important than the actual capital that you trade with. And I talk about that a lot in other videos, so please go check those out if you want to hear more thoughts on that. All right, let's look at some more internals back on just basic price action for ETH. And as you can see here on ETH, you got the DMI getting up into the power zone on the bears on the hourly, and it happened at the same time and getting below the 55 and the 21. So the short-term momentum was already telling us on the 24th, early in the morning, around 5 a.m. that this move was done. The local move was done. That doesn't mean it's going to $5 or something, right? I'm not saying that, but the local move has been exhausted and it needs a little breather. And a lot of times these are just little liquidation breaks to start getting, like this one, little liquidation breaks right here, and then it gets more room to pump. We move in sine waves in the markets. We don't just go up or down. Now, sometimes we have, like if y'all traded in December, right, and saw Bitcoin in 2 weeks just double, but those are outlier moves. You can't plan for those as they are rare, hence the name outlier, right? So we did have a sign already on Ethereum that breaking down to this 230s, mid 230s level, getting below the 55 and the 21, and the DMI getting the power zone. That move was exhausted. And I've said it before, I'll say it again. If you don't know what indicators to use, try to use very few indicators because they will confuse you. And I think the 21 and the 55 EMAs are really good just for general like trading and trend following. And then maybe after you kind of do that for a little bit, add RSI on there is a good tried and true one. I have that on the bottom here, as y'all can see in the orange. But y'all know that I mostly reference the DMI. That is by far my favorite. So to wrap up Ethereum, you've got bearish on the 4-hour, semi-neutral on the daily, but about to go bearish, bearish on the hour, and bearish on the 850. So we are getting a little bit of bearishness on Mr. Unicorn Shirt Man. Let's see. Let's go to Litecoin. Get away from all this unicorn stuff. All right, and so we set up this trade yesterday, and this one came out real nice. The target actually got hit. Wow, look at that. In a day. Did we set that up yesterday? I think we did. Yeah, so here we go. We set that up on this day here. You can go check it out. Just go to the Litecoin TA. I think I even marked it trade setup on that video. I think it was a couple videos ago. And we were talking about how the risk to reward is flipped now. We had a long position riding up to here. And when you get to this point, you get to your target, and you have all this resistance up here, 618 retracement, which, let me show you how you do that. You kind of just pull here. You have the 618 stacked around here, the middle of the trend line, and the longest term moving average. I mean, it's going to be hard to break through that. And especially other weakness showing in, the general market. It just, now your risk is flipped, and you have to be able to change your mind in this game, or you will lose money consistently. I know, I've done it. I did it for way too damn long. Because I was trying to do this also by myself, like learn how to trade. And it's a very isolated kind of gig, you're by yourself. No one trades really. Most people don't have friends that trade or ever have, or family members. So, it's kind of isolated. And, if you don't have someone kind of there teaching you stuff, it makes it way more difficult. And you got to learn the hard way. School of hard knocks, or in the streets, if you will, right? So anyway, you got to be able to flip. So we set this up real quick, and look at that, guys. In a day, it got hit. So then you should have already taken this off. Don't keep holding it. You don't have confirmation bias when you set this up. Like right here, you're like, oh, I need to initiate a position of Litecoin. It's kind of here, stacked on resistance, here. All right, the odds now favored to the downside. I'm going to target about mid-50s, which we were talking about all this support here. And it was also the 618 from this move as well. So that gave us kind of this general target. That's what we targeted there. And as you can see, it almost hit it to the T. You should take part of it off here if you want to do the management strategy that I talked about earlier, which is how I do it. And I usually do about 25-30% when it gets to half back of my range, and then I keep the rest on. And then on this candle, definitely on this next one, I'm taking it all off. It's done. It's over. So that's what I will be doing. I will be erasing this box because that trade has been completed. Keep that chart clean, remember. All right, so let's check out. Yep, Litecoin's neutral on the 4-hour. Actually is getting, it's starting to get bullish on the 1 hour on this big pump here, this little few dollars that we've been seeing in the last couple hours, so that's interesting. On the daily, it's neutral, so Litecoin is actually showing a little bit of strength based off of internals, but I wouldn't get too excited about that. Not until we can get like back above 60 is kind of what I would, what I'm looking for there in price. As you can see on the 1 hour, we are getting some resistance here, already at the 55. So, but this is interesting. DMI hourly is one of the top 3 majors that only, I think it's the only top 3. Ethereum didn't have it, Bitcoin didn't have it, but Litecoin has it. So that is pretty interesting. I'm going to keep an eye out on that. I'm actually going to throw me on an alert right here to see if we can get above that 58. Oh, not crossing down, crossing up. There we go. See if we can get above that 58, which will be over the orange, which is my 55. And that might be initiating another long position for us here. Possibly, but I'm not going to set that up quite yet. I'll probably wait for tomorrow. Ooh, excuse me. To do that. All right, let's go to the rips. Good old Ripple. Yeah, I know we talked about it earlier, but, you know, we're just going to go over it again because everybody likes the Ripple. No, they don't, actually. Everyone hates Ripple. I like Ripple. I think it's cool. It's got a good use case, right? Again, we'll do this one real fast. You got some support printing here, and it has been pretty well defended in the mid-40s, low 40s. And so the fact that it blew up through all this range, and then now it's coming back to test this, I think that's really healthy, actually. And so I want to kind of get bullish on Ripple from here, but I'm going to wait. I'm going to be patient a little bit because we played this part of this move. I actually sold early. I sold on this candle in the high 40s, and then the next day, you know, this big old blow off happens, but that's okay. Not a big deal. Can't be mad about making money, right? That is why we are trading, or to preserve capital at least. You know, some people just do it for that too. But this is good. Consolidation right on this 55. If we break below, I'm going to say 42.5, I'm going to go ahead and put me an alert on for that. Then Ripple will likely break down back into the mid-30s range is what I would guess. Probably targeting like 33 to 36. All right, so that's the rips. Based off internals, 1 hour is still pretty damn bearish. 4 hours neutral. Daily is bullish, and the 850s should still be bullish. Yes, it is. All right, so so that's about it for Ripple. Hold on to the low 40s. All right, let's go to EOS. That's the second favorite coin for everyone. For sure, right? Historically, I've seen Ripple be a leading indicator. Elaborate on that for me, Scott, for the market at large. So like a leading indicator as far as, you know, it forecasts price a little bit. So as Ripple going hugely up right now, that there's probably some bullish legs behind it. Is that kind of what you're saying? Here's another setup we did a couple days ago on EOS that already filled real fast. And oh, this is interesting. So we target kind of this range here in the top of this range, and it was also about a 618 retracement here, as you can see, lining up there. And now it's funny, price is coming right back to this box, but this trade came in real nicely almost immediately. This was almost perfect, y'all, so that was pretty nice. Let's see, the pump cycle leads the rest of the market by a few days, weeks, not price forecasts, but a volume forecast. Gotcha, okay. The rips is a leading indicator of stellar. That is correct, Transfix, faux show. That is a good point. Well, don't forget about Doge, though. I don't know if y'all saw my Doge chart that I made. That ended up following through pretty well. I guess I'll go ahead and pull it up real quick since we are talking about indicators, leading indicators. Here's that Doge chart. I posted it on my Twitter. People actually really liked it. I'm not super active on Twitter, but this one I got a lot of love for. Let me zoom out a little bit so you can see the whole chart that I made. There we go. Yeah, so that was kind of the chart, and I made it right here before, you know, this stuff happened. But yeah, you can see it had a little bit of follow through, but it immediately got sold off. But we did see a lot of strength in the general market, so Doge was telling us something a little bit there. Thanks, Doge. You're the best. All right, let's go back to my, oh my gosh, what did I do here? There we go. So this trade ended up filling out real nice. It's over. Got to take it off, clean it up. Didn't even get into the red zone. Those are always nice. You usually don't get those, that's for sure. But again, when you start banging up against resistance all over the place, the odds change, right? The risk reward changes, and you have to change your damn mind. Don't be one of these crazy people that are just like, hodl for life, bro. Yeah, man. It's going up to $1 billion. No, that's not how this works. Now we are getting resistance here on the top of this trend line once more again. So let's get rid of that box as that trade has been filled. Yeah, so here we go, finding resistance at the trend line again. Had a little false breakout, which is not the best sign. You usually don't want to see that. That usually kind of scares me. But, you know, it's hard to say. It's all based on what Mama Bear wants to do right now. So, it is making a pretty nice base here, though, and the indicators are very neutral. So, you know, you could just probably box this range in. Y'all know we've talked about in all the videos that, you know, 460 to 480 has been a great area to accumulate. And so we are just kind of bouncing in this range since, shit, all the way since mid-August. That's pretty intense. So that's good, though. Consolidation is not a bad thing. So, all right, keep an eye on that. If we break, actually, I'm gonna go ahead and put an alert on this, because if we break like 490, I might add to some long positions on EOS depending on what the chart looks like. All right, so that is the EOS game. Let's go to, let's see, XLM. There it is, XLM. Dollar, bam. XLM's chart is not that great on Bitfinex. Let's go to Bittrex then. You know they got the data. There we go. That looks much better. All right. Man, this chart actually kind of looks a lot like Bitcoin's chart. You know, you have a steep decline here and then kind of like a little falling wedges type pattern. So that's kind of interesting. It looks more like that than it does Ripple's chart, that's for sure. So the 4 hour, it looks like we might, I usually don't like to preempt patterns like this, but this one is pretty damn close. You are getting kind of a head and shoulders action that is almost getting ready to fulfill. A little rally here to just about 26 cents, and stalling out would be right there. I only like to do them when they're mostly completed like this. You know, I see a lot of people, they'll do them when, you know, price is back here. They'll be like, oh, look, dude, it's inverted head and shoulders, see? But there'll be like no price like from like here to the right. It's really funny. People just, head and shoulders is like some weird meme in the crypto space. Everybody loves it. All right, so on the daily though, XLM still looks pretty damn strong. If we can hold 22 cents, I would say being bullish on XLM is a good trade. Let's see, on the 4 hour is neutral. And the 1 hour is neutral as well, so that's good. All right, so on that note, what I'm going to do here, since we do have some neutralness, and this is going to be a higher risk trade just because of the market where we are at this point in time, with Bitcoin and some ETF stuff. But let's say about here, could do about a 5% stop, and I would say you could probably target to the tops of this range, which, like we just discussed with making this head and shoulders, possibly. You know, we'll kind of target that range for the upper part of the shoulder, and you can get us about a 2, almost 3 to 1 risk to reward here. You can ratchet this up, of course, if you'd like, to the bottom of these wicks to be a little more conservative, and maybe only do about a 3% stop. So let's leave that on there right there for kind of a little trade idea. You know, got to mix it up. But overall, it's pretty damn neutral on all the time frames. On the daily, it is slightly bullish, though. All right, let's go to XMR. Those good old privacy coins. I've been trying to talk about those daily. Oh, man. Okay, so real quick, before we go to XMR, NAV was the coin I was trying to remember a couple streams ago. If y'all are listening to that, I totally had a brain fart and looked like an idiot, but that's okay. It's like, which one is it? NAV is a privacy coin that I feel like is kind of under the radar a little bit, but the other, man, what was it? 3 days ago, NAV just like 100%ed on Binance. Yeah, here it is right here, just out of freaking nowhere. And I feel like a total idiot because I had a long signal come in off of my system back over here, and I just totally forgot about it. And yeah, that would have been a nice one, faux show. But as you can see, this has been sold off massively. Dumpy McDumpson. See where we are on that. Yeah, about the 7-8. So we are looking pretty gnarly on the NAV coin. Man, I remember NAV back to some of my older buddies. Transfix, I know you. Scott, I know you were out there trading in 2014. NAV was, let's look at it actually on a BTC pair on Bittrex, and let's go to the weekly because it's been around for a long time. NAV was in the sub 1,000 Satoshi game almost forever. And I remember it way back here. It's about 300. NAV had an insane run. Look at that chart, y'all. Look at this wick though. I don't know if that's real or not. That could just be bad data, but regardless, pretty intense chart. But yeah, so NAV as a privacy coin, let's dive into it a little bit more here with some internals. Go to the daily. Oh, I actually don't even have my horizontals on here. I gotta add those real quick. Alt H, you can do that real fast in TradingView. If you didn't know, now you know. Still looking pretty damn bullish on the daily. It's even getting bullish on the 3-day. Wow, there are not many coins that are getting bullish on the 3-day time frame, and that has actually officially closed above the 21 and up here in the power zone. So that's pretty damn interesting. I'm gonna be keeping an eye on that. I did not know that. Let's see. Let's put a alert or in alert at about 29 cents. I mean, that looks like a nice area for a little accumulation. For me, that's what I'm going to be kind of watching this, because I have not seen something on a 3-day that is bullish in a long time. Based off of how I look at charts or whatever. On the hourly, it is a little bit bearish, but we are starting to print support off the TMA, which is the triple exponential, which is these blue dots. No, that's not SAR, parabolic SAR. It does look like that. I just made it dots. Most of the time it's a line, but I wanted to be able to look at it fast and know. TMAs, the triple exponentials, are really awesome. Y'all should play around with those. They behave very differently than other moving averages. I like them because they're kind of predictive almost for like floors. As you can see, this is starting to curl underneath right here. And so 30 cents, 30.5 cents is going to be massive support on NAV coin. And given that it is printing a bullish daily action on the 3-day, or a bullish 3-day action, that is pretty damn impressive. Geez, even on the daily, it was bullish back here in this little cluster. So feel dumb for missing that one, especially after I got an alert sent directly to myself, to my phone. Retard. That's okay. Can't do all of them. This is a lot of work, guys. There's a lot of things to pay attention to. I'm sure some of my friends know that are in here. All right, Monero. Look at this little trend line. Something I just kind of immediately see there. And where does that put for our trend line cross then? So we're gonna have hardcore resistance at about $1.65. I'm gonna go ahead and put me an alert there. Crossing up. So we do have lots of resistance there. That resistance is going to come in, though, a little bit earlier, probably around 150, which we kind of discussed back in here when we were looking at good old Monero. Good old fluffy pone. Let's see here. Damn, I kind of like this XMR chart. Let's go on a little longer time frame. 3-day is neutral, so that's interesting. How about on a weekly? Weekly is neutral. And the daily is neutral. Man, it's just super neutral. 4 hour is ever so slightly bearish, and the 1 hour will probably be neutral. Shocker, right? So okay, so that's kind of good. I kind of like this. So Monero right here, of course, everything is dependent on Mama Bear and if it wants to have the bottom fall out or not. But this actually looks like a decent trade setup here with this trend line and stacking on the 55 and 21. So I'm actually going to go ahead and throw that on here. I'm kind of liking this. And I'm going to do like a stop maybe around like the bottoms, all these closes and bodies. That's about $10 from here. Excuse me. And I'm going to target this trend line cross, okay? Which seems that it probably lines up with this 618 measurement right around here. Oh, no, it does not. Sorry, I was way off. Wow, I'm usually a lot better than that. So I'm way off on that. 618 is up here around 200. But we'll go here with the 377 exponential in this trend line cross. That'll kind of be our target, which sets us up to about a 4-to-1 ratio, which is very nice. Me personally, I like to have 3 is and up is like my preferred, but I will slide in some 2.5s depending on the chart and the underlying too. You know, maybe in equities I'm a little more conservative. I don't go for as large numbers, you know, just because they don't move as much. But with crypto, shit, 10-20% is like every day. So, but yeah, Monero very neutral right here. This is a interesting spot for Monero. Let's go to Dash. Speaking on some privacy coins. Let's see. Where is there? No, I don't want to do Binance. We'll do Bittrex. I don't have a bunch of data. Oh, let's see. So we did have a little long setup on the Dash here. We've been talking about these little trend line crosses. And we did talk about once this got up into this range, about managing it and turning almost the new management to where you ratchet your stop up to this trend line, and then that's your new stop. Since you are in the money now, you know, adjust it to where you can't lose now. And those are like some of the best trades. Because then if you manage a little bit like that, then, you know, you don't even have to worry about downside now. When this breaks here, you're done. You're out and you made money. Like, that's a great feeling. But even if you didn't, let's just say you didn't and you held it. I know this was a little bit wider, probably something about like that. I know we ratcheted it up because we were talking about what I was just discussing. But anyway, yeah, it's kind of right here, got out of that zone. So, you know, at least you could have got out for about a break even if you didn't take any of this off. But just to manage those damn winners, y'all. Goes up, take some off. It's okay. Just take some off and see how you feel. Just take off like 5% or 10%. Just see what it does. Or take all of it off and see if you can buy back at that point. Because that will clean your mind up of confirmation bias. Because then you'll have no position. You're like, oh man, I don't actually want to buy back here at 210. That sounds terrible. You know, that's a good little trick that I use sometimes on myself. But this is pretty much donezo. So I'm going to be erasing that. This trend line is also donezo. So I'm going to erase that as well. Dash 4 hour is bearish. Dash daily is very neutral and weak. And how about the 3-day dash? 3-day dash, neutral. All right. So I would think, let me see here. Let's go to the hourly. Man, my computer is lagging up again. It's about time for me to upgrade, y'all. So bears are starting to lose some of their momentum, but we do have bulls in the weak zone, so can't get too excited about that. But just off price action alone, looking at to the left of the chart, you do have quite a bit of support over here in this, you know, 175, 180 area. Don't really like too much of this setup though. I guess one of the nicest things about it, if I wanted to make a bullish case, would be that we are breaking out of this trend line and we are staying above it. So that is pretty formidable, especially since that trend line is all the way back to December, y'all. So that's a pretty good one. And yes, Transfix, I agree, they are looking decent. They're not looking great, but they are looking decent. Let's see here. Yeah, ugh, man, you know what? The risk to reward on this is kind of too good not to put this on here. So I'm gonna put that on there. I'm gonna do the stop pretty much at this trend line, almost to it, and target the back to the top of this range. It's gonna be a kind of a little simple setup there. And then you just kind of do that, guys. Don't overthink trading, man. It's not... That's what kills people, too. I see that all the time. People just overanalyze. They just look at charts all day because they think they're going to get edged. And like I said earlier in the stream, man, like, set up a chart thing where you can go through kind of how, like, I do, and I'm like, daily bearish, 4-hour bearish, bullish, neutral, whatever. Like, I can do that in, you know, seconds on any time frame. You know, it doesn't take that long for me to look at a chart and be interested or not interested in it off almost like the initial look at it within, you know, minutes. And being able to do that does take time, of course, and you have to set up your charts in a certain way. But after you can kind of do that, man, like, and get some of your freedom back from being a slave to the charts, is a good thing, because I know how that is. I am a junkie for trading. So all right, let's go to equity markets. I don't know if anyone cares about those, but we're going to talk about them. We're going to talk about them because that's what we do over here. As I've been discussing on S&P and general equities, I've been pretty bullish on them for the last couple weeks. I've been buying dips and getting long deltas on any sell-offs. I missed this week. I kind of was a little sluggish starting the week off and trading. I probably drank too much on Sunday. That probably didn't help. But... oh yeah, and I also had some power issues over at my house, so that kind of sucked. But it was mostly because of drinking stuff. Yeah, that always happens too. I don't know how the market knows, like, that one day you go out and drink and, like, get too trashed to where you can't really function that well the next day. That's when, like, the best opportunities will happen. It's funny. The market is watching you. It's a conspiracy. Do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do. Oh, man, don't be dropping frames. Whoa, what is that? What is that? Hey, guys, is it okay over there? Are y'all